What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the middle of the map in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is Grandmonster. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is JoeyBadz. The baddest Joey there ever was. We've got our first instance of a certain player not paying attention to the very obvious hints that a certain resource is available on this map that otherwise you wouldn't know about. And that is Grandmonster here, not paying attention to the start of the game. You get about 15 seconds to see the message before it disappears, and that said message is, "There's fish on the map, you dummy." Now, you can also hit page up to see that message again, but in this instance, Grandmonster took a very, very long time to move his dwarves onto this gold mine here, and he indeed did miss the old... He did indeed miss the old fish is here, and he is only now spotting said fish and going to have to work out how he wants to play around that in this situation. Now, JoeyBadz going to have a very big advantage going on in this game because he's already got his dock down, which means right now Grandmonster is at 7 villages, JoeyBadz is at 10. So this early on tends to be a very, very big deal here. And beyond that right now, sometimes this map spawn here with the center fish going around like this also gets side fish down the bottom, or side fish up the top, side fish over here, side fish over here. And at this point, it appears that is not the case. So this is going to be a very, very middle contested fishing situation here. And we'll see if JoeyBadz can make it work for him or not, as he's simply put, he's got all the advantages going forward in this map. He's going to have a lot more resources than his opponent, especially as Grandmonster is kind of deciding to just not fish here, which isn't really an option considering there's like 9 fish on both sides. And if you give all of that fish over to your opponent, they're going to have somewhere in the vicinity of 18 fish at the end of that, which is basically double the amount of villages that you will have at the start of the game. So that becomes a big issue to have to overcome. And we are seeing the dock coming down now for Grandmonster, going to try and get onto this bottom side fish here, grabbing a little bit of that mahi-mahi for himself, get himself nice and fat here. You can see he has brought villagers over onto the wood as the game's progressed. Has tons of cows, has an extra ox cart up here onto the gazelles, and also has himself hunting dogs and pig sticker. Now, ironically, it's actually not a bad idea to be picking up hunting dogs on a map like this where you're only really getting, let's say, what's 9 fish a piece. You're both only getting 9 fish essentially each on a map like this. So getting hunting dogs in the end of the day is actually going to be a fairly net positive because you're going to want to have villagers eating that food nonetheless. But in this situation, Grandmonster probably would have wanted to get those fish coming out earlier and then getting hunting dogs a little bit later, which we might actually see JoeyBadz going for, or at least something similar a little bit later on here as more fishing ships coming out. He's actually using his fishing ship here to build a dock, which is a bit of an interesting one. It does take the fishing ship, I think it's 90 seconds. 107 seconds. I'm a bit off. 107 seconds to put up a dock. That's nearly 2 minutes to put up a dock with that fishing ship. But you do save yourself quite a bit of resources on the villager walking time to get over here and go back. If you compare what a dock takes for a villager to build, I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's a lot faster than 2 minutes. I'll tell you that much for free. So JoeyBadz already almost fished up on this side. He is chucking his another dock down over here with this fishing ship. And the real question becomes, is it worth it to have the villager walking time or to have that fishing ship gathering food? And I think at the very start of the game, when you don't have Persine and you don't have Salta Amphora, there is actually an argument that for this fishing ship to actually be a little bit more efficient than a villager if it's a long distance to walk. And JoeyBadz might actually be correct here. Of all people, he might actually be correct. It's an interesting question and a debate to have indeed, as we see another dock coming up. Freya on the way here for Grandmonster. Grandmonster is going to have to play really, really aggressive, really aggressively here in order to remove JoeyBadz' significant advantage. As JoeyBadz now going through Anubis, which I think might be a little bit too safe in a big way. Anubis is going to allow JoeyBadz to essentially win one side of the water or defend one side of the water, because he's going to have all of those snakes on a very small surface area, which can be very, very helpful to an ISIS player. But not having Eclipse means Ancestors Eclipse kind of dies, and maybe JoeyBadz is thinking, I'm going to go Hathor and take this game a little bit later here, try and defend Ragnarok and be okay in the end. So we'll see how that's going to go. We still haven't seen Grandmonster going for any longboats just here. Looks like he's going for a town center straight away. He's got the 90 food, the 270 wood, the 220 gold. This isn't a bad idea. Trading the fish for a town center here, making his opponent try and attack on the water nice and early here, could be a really, really nice way to play this one. Getting this town center up. It's not in range of the water. I don't think, though, it's quite close, so maybe this could be an issue come Mythic Age. We'll see how it's all going to go. JoeyBadz with the 14 fishing ships out. We do see the Valkyrie wandering forward here. Grandmonster might want to cast his Forest Fire, but it looks like he's just going to be running through his opponent's base, saying g'day, and wandering away here, not having all too many issues. So we see another dock or two coming up for JoeyBadz. Still no attempt at any longboats here. There is a very, very brutal strategy that's available here for Norse players, especially Thor players who save their gold mine at the early game. The strategy is effectively you just grab 3 town centers against ISIS, and your opponent, your ISIS opponent, who would want to do like a 1 town center timing push, is going to get met with a Ragnarok at about that time. So you kind of can go for like a 3 town center fast mythic against with that extra dwarven gold mine in your base, and the ISIS player is not going to be able to attack all the things at once to slow you down, and you can get Mythic Age quite fast here. But that's more on a land map. On a water map, kind of doesn't work. Everything kind of hits a little bit too fast. So we'll see what JoeyBadz is going to do. He's getting himself Persine and Shaft Mine nice and early. Monument to the Villagers to boot here. A little bit late on that one, but we're going to forgive him. The reason why this is a little bit late is because it only gets 6 favor a minute, and JoeyBadz is going to be wanting to advance right about now, which means when he hits the Heroic Age, he's only going to have 6 favor. So that's why it's a little bit slow. Might want to drop down the Monument to Soldiers as he clicks Advance, and that should be okay for him. Otherwise, we'll just have to wait for a Migdol. But Grandmonster now, 2 town centers, starting to throw down longhouses all over the place. We are seeing this Valkyrie scouting around the map, seeing a couple of pretty sneaky little puddles here. I love this from the map designer, Rebels Rising. Got to give him a shout out. Chucking in these little ponds in corners, especially the corner which is likely going to be the region where the market is going to be put, means that there's another avenue to infiltrate your opponent's trade route in the late game. And that's why these puddles are here. It's to make the game, it's to give more weaknesses in an opponent's position, basically. Because if you go into certain maps where there's a lot of cliffs, those weaknesses go away, and you can't really push in and threaten certain locations as easily. But when you play on a map like this with these random puddles here, these are just really, really nice little areas of the map that can be used to kind of do something exciting with them. As we are seeing Nephthys coming through now for JoeyBadz. Nephthys gives access to a Leviathan as well as a Scorpion, man. That Leviathan's going to pop out here for Joey, so he can move that forward and take out these fishing ships, as we do see Grandmonster with 4 fishing ships inside of his dock for whichever reason. And we are seeing Grandmonster getting himself his 3rd town center right now as he's finishing up eating these giraffe over here. Plenty of cows in his base. We see a Dwarven Armory coming up. So Grandmonster's idea is very much this fast mythic into a Ragnarok strategy that we've seen. I mean, I would like to say we've seen it time and time again, but really this is a very, very Thor main mindset. Odin players tend not to do this because it's it's a little bit too defensive for the Odin players. The Odin players kind of have all the tools they need to have some sort of an advantage against Isis actually in this matchup, whereas Thor feels a little bit on the back foot just because everything comes out just that little bit slower due to having to spend an extra couple of resources in the early game and all the other stuff that comes with that, as we are seeing the Sea Snakes actually getting placed down here by JoeyBadz. I like this as a threat. It's like JoeyBadz is like saying, oh yeah, don't you dare be building any boats out of this dock because my snakes are here to say get out of here. So JoeyBadz claiming this water as his own, planting his flag here, and he will grab these fish a little bit later, I'm sure. Joey also getting himself his second talent center over here, moving up onto this location, going to be getting himself a Migdol stronghold. And you can just see how many more resources JoeyBadz has right now than Grandmonster. And now Grandmonster actually managing to find himself in what seems to be a fairly equal situation in terms of villager productions. We do see Ancestors and the Anubite getting dropped here. Skadi a little bit too slow coming through for Grandmonster, so he's not going to be able to just cast Frost on this, but he's got so many Ursa here. No access to Hall of Fans because he did go through Freya, but the Ursa nonetheless are going to be coming in and will be defeating the majority of these minions. And JoeyBadz actually not microing this one at all, and he will be very, very upset about the amount of kills he just gave away essentially for free there. But we'll see where JoeyBadz is going to go from now. I don't think we have seen Prosperity get used here by JoeyBadz. I was going to say maybe we hadn't, but we have seen that one, and JoeyBadz just continuing along here. He's actually already moving into medium axeman. So this is actually a really, really good read here from JoeyBadz. Now, one thing that Norse players are always going to be scared of is Axeman. But the actual thing that Norse players are going to be the most scared of is Axeman Camelry or Axeman Elephant. As soon as you don't make Chariot Archers, Norse players start getting very, very scared here. And this is true for both Greek, Egyptian, and Atlantean in a big way. I might be speaking a little bit confusingly here. The reason why Chariot Archers tend to not be the best is because it gives an avenue for the Huskarl to come in. If you go for Axemen and Camelry, the Axemen, the only counter to Axemen that Norse have is going to be medium raiders as the raiders are moving through. And the Camelry can take those out. You can also use elephants as a side thing as well. They're not quite as good, but they are very good at pushing. But the point is you can make Axemen and you can make the Camelry and make a very, very difficult time for your opponent, as we are seeing JoeyBadz now grading his talent. And the Frost gets dropped down. We do have, we got the double war barge out right here. It looks like JoeyBadz has got an idea to use it on this town center, as Grandmonster already, he's getting himself his winter harvest, super cheap upgrade, super strong, effectively equal to plow and irrigation. So Grandmonster very, very happily going to be grabbing that one up. He's also going to be dropping a hill fort on this front. JoeyBadz with an insane amount of resources in the bank right now. The only problem here is he's not really thinking about using it in a big way. He's got all of these resources, a market down, selling that food, going Mythic Age, selling that food, spending it on Migdols all over the map here, spamming buildings everywhere. These are the things you have to do, getting all of your upgrades. All of this stuff is very, very important, as we are seeing Grandmonster going to be making a move forward here. The Ulfsark also going to be joining in, but the Frost Giant now getting targeted down here by the Priest immediately. Nice play here from JoeyBadz. He doesn't have funeral rites just yet, but the Frost Giant will indeed be falling here. Unfortunately for JoeyBadz, he actually doesn't have a good counter to these medium raiders because he doesn't have Spearmen, he doesn't have Camelry, and he's basically just got himself Axemen, Chariot Archers, as these raiding cavalry just bust through JoeyBadz' army here. Now, a bunch of buildings are up, so we'll see if JoeyBadz is going to be changing the units he wants to be making here. It looks like he's not. He's still making trying to make Chariot Archers out of his home Migdol here, as now he swaps it in to those cavalry, heavy cavalry coming through now for Grandmonster as well, as he's going to continue to try and push through. Here's a big forest fire onto this location. I love that forest fire. This is going to open up both of these gold mines for raiding here, as Grandmonster is making a very, very nice push here, especially now that we've even got the heavy spearmen coming through for JoeyBadz. The unit's just coming out a little bit too slow, but JoeyBadz clicking up very, very threatening right now. He's going up through Thoth. It's a very, very scary god to be picking, because Thoth, effectively, when you click Thoth, you need to have a couple of options or a couple of criteria to actually get a lot of value out of Thoth. One of those criteria, as we're seeing some raids now pushing into this gold mine over here, one of those criteria is favor. You need to have a good, healthy amount of favor, because the reason for Thoth is elephant. You want to be making elephant. You want to be getting Valley of the Kings, tusks of Apatomark, and having the biggest elephant you've ever seen. The other option for going Thoth is Phoenix, and again, you need favor for that. So the idea is, if you're clicking Thoth, you need to have favor and favor income to boot. That means monument to soldiers, monument to priests, maybe even, and living the dream where that's concerned. But JoeyBadz doesn't have that. He's just going to get the meteor here and not much else behind it. So we'll see if he's going to make it work or not. He does get one of those very, very brutal phoenixes for free, and he does have the war barges over here. So we'll see if this is going to work for JoeyBadz or not, as this location here is seemingly getting torn to smithereens, as Rhyme is going to be coming through. We've even got a handful of throwing axemen already out for Grandmonster. He doesn't have his Sky unit bonus damage multiplier here. I always forget this upgrade. I can't, and I don't even get to see it. It's like axe of something. Somebody can tell me. I give up. It's the one that gives bonus damage to the thing in the sky. The flying units, you know what it is. Anyways, now we've got units going to be moving to the bottom side of the map. We've already got the Phoenix flying forward, War Barge, War Turtle here, and Leviathan. This is a lot of population being taken up right now for JoeyBadz, as the spearmen do drop out of that location here, and the town center seems to be looking like it's going to be holding true. One thing that JoeyBadz could definitely be doing in this game, as Grandmonster is continuously pushing in, is getting himself a market in this corner. He's got 1,000 food in the bank that could have been converted into something like trade route here. As the cavalry wander through, he might be wanting to cast the meteor on that location there, as Grandmonster's getting himself fortified town centers while this is all going on. But this is not going to be able to kill the town center most of the time because of that fortified town centers. Gives a lot of extra HP. A lot of farms do end up going down here, but we'll see how it's all going to go. Elephant starting to come through on this location here. JoeyBadz at 19 favor. He's getting himself guard towers. The town center here is falling, as Grandmonster is marching forward, showing what a terrifying presence he is here. How much HP remaining on this town center? 1,700. As we're now starting to see some of these farms getting taken out. The Phoenix flying in. The Phoenix is a very, very good building destroyer, dealing 40 crush, 40 hack a second here. But he dies very, very quick. So you do need to have something to tank for said Phoenix, or simply just use him on other buildings or something like this. As the Ox Caravans out for Grandmonster are getting taken down, and Grandmonster does click up through Balder. There's no real surprises here. This has always been his game plan from the start of this game, has been to go through Balder and just stick it to JoeyBadz in a very, very terrifying way. He's been spamming villages for a long time at 107 villages right now. That is no joke. That is so many villages, 109 villages, as they're just continuing to come forward. Not only that, he's also got a small trade route as well, which is terrifying because it means that there's still going to be gold coming through, which means that Fire Giant follow-up is a thing, or anything else is a thing. We see the Phoenix getting taken down. You can rebuild this Phoenix for a little bit less here, as we're seeing Iron Shields coming through here for Grandmonster as well. As Grandmonster just doesn't care. He's just like, all right, I'm just going to keep pushing in onto this location. We do see these villagers checking out the corner here. Markets coming down. The gold mine expiring here for JoeyBadz, as all the gold remaining is seemingly on the top side of the map. One of the biggest weaknesses of ISIS in competitive Mega Random is her scouting. You have to do that scouting in the heroic age as opposed to the early game for all the other civilizations, because you only get like a priest in the early game to do it, and a lot of the times that can get shut down. As we see the catapults rolling in here, taking down this town center. Grandmonster just kind of saying, I don't even care, you can kill my villagers at this point, getting himself bronze mail as well as the villagers wandering through here. Town center has got itself masons and fortified town center, so it's going to be up for a little while longer. 97%, 99% Balder, as Balder does hit here. There's the immediate Ragnarok jumping up to 382 population. The villagers going to be wandering down to the bottom side of the map, desperately trying to get onto this gold mine. Those war barges we once saw are no longer on that water, so JoeyBadz wasn't actually preparing to take that down. The elephants here doing a good amount of damage, but are going to end up falling. Are they going to fall before the town center goes down, though? It looks like they will not. Town center lives with 257 HP. Another elephant going to be streaming in here. The catapult's getting taken out. Effectively, JoeyBadz needs axemen here, but he's got no gold. The villagers jumping onto these lumber camps over here. Villagers on this location trying to drop a Migdol stronghold, but Grandmonster is not going to be allowing this one here. And it is called Axe of Muspel. There you go. Axe of Muspel was there's that upgrade, and Grandmonster still can't be bothered getting that one out. Anyways, fire giants, frost giants pushing forward here, trying to take down everything as it's just a sea of blue wandering forward to try and finish off JoeyBadz's base. And I love this from JoeyBadz. He's 93 pop. His opponent's 358 pop, but it's a Ragnarok, so you got to hang in and just wait and see. Does he actually have it or not? And we know he does, but JoeyBadz doesn't, and he's going to be attempting to figure out a way forward. He's even got a handful of elephants here to try and finish off this town center to get the last laugh in this game. The fortified town center falls. These towers not up fast enough, but JoeyBadz did manage to get himself up to Baluster Tower here some way, somehow. And it allows those Baluster Tower to do a lot of damage to those Heroes of Ragnarok. However, the Heroes of Ragnarok have already got themselves iron shields. So while it's a lot of damage, it's being reduced by a lot here, as the town center will inevitably go down, and Grandmonster does indeed have enough resources to be getting this town center up himself. However, his hometown center, Architect's coming through, and it does get dropped here as JoeyBadz is saying, no, I'm going to survive. I will survive. Not my town center, but I will survive. Some way, shape, or form. Not going to be losing to that town center victory, as these Heroes of Ragnarok have to chase these elephants back home. There is still 331 population remaining here, as the elephants are going to continue to do some naughty stuff here, as the Heroes of Ragnarok have spotted a pretty exciting little feast here. We'll see if Grandmonster actually notices it, or if he's moving the Heroes of Ragnarok into the corner. Looks like he's just going to the corner here, as the camel caravans wandering around looking for something to do. As the towers getting taken down, the village is going to attempt to grab this town center for themselves. I am more than certain Grandmonster is going to be putting a stop to this with the forces he has assembled. More villagers going to be wandering forward here to try and aid in putting this settlement up, but it seems to me that is going to be prevented, as JoeyBadz's villager population is now plummeting down to the ground. And in the 21st minute of this game, JoeyBadz does have to tap out. An excellent try here from JoeyBadz. Definitely aware in the first 15 seconds that there was fish, giving him a significant advantage in this game. However, not being able to spend his resources efficiently, allowing Grandmonster to effectively come back into this game with a very, very strong town center boom. A nice try, though. Had JoeyBadz been able to spam the units out to defend this location and not drop this town center, this Ragnarok could have been a lot less scary, and potentially JoeyBadz could have had a better time holding it, especially if he was more aware of how important these gold mines were, because this is currently probably like 9,000 gold remaining, which is a lot of towers he could throw up, especially because he already got up to Ballaster Tower. And that could have been a very, very difficult thing for Grandmonster to push through. But unfortunately for JoeyBadz, or fortunately for Grandmonster, Joey was not able to get it done. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.